Okay, so this is Kevin Small. I'm going to do a short video having to do with the installation of the old Featherweight Interface Program for the Parrot and Raven 4, and then a little bit cover the installation of the new software that should cover graphing of the data exported from the Blue Raven, Blue Jay, etc. I have both of the Internet Explorer and Google open to the Featherweight Altimeter's page because both of them may give a slightly different warning when downloading a new installer. The current installer on the Featherweight page, or the current interface program, you would go down to the interface program, sample graphic from 12 plus years ago, and Adrian provides a link here to download the old classic FIP, I'll say. I'll probably have him, or he will probably go ahead and add another link here to download the new one once we've had a few more testers of it. I've been working with a few people to get it tested, but we haven't made it widely available yet. That's what part of this video is going to cover. So on that one, if you downloaded it, it would then create something under the Start menu, Featherweight Interface Program. If you started that up, it actually would come up and you could say Help and About, and you could find out that this build was April of 2013, so that's how old it is. Behind the scenes, it actually checks to see whether I've ever uploaded a new version. If I had, it would download or prompt the user, do you want to download it, do you want to install it, etc. We'll see that happen with this new stub. To make this easier for pasting it in, I actually created a dummy little document here. So this is actually the URL where you can download the stub. It's going to be probably the same executable that Adrian puts on his website, so you can get it from either place once it's on the other one. So I'm going to click on that. It's going to download it, and since it hasn't been downloaded much, it says basically it's an insecure download. What do you want to do? I'm going to go ahead and say keep. It says suspicious file downloaded. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and do the right arrow. I'm going to say go ahead and download the suspicious file because I'm suspicious. And then I can go here and I can say open the folder and I can install it. And so I'm going to show you that there. We're going to run one of these, but I'm also going to go ahead and do it on Internet Explorer, which has just slightly different complaints, but it's going to go ahead and it's downloading it here. Interesting that it's taking longer for Internet Explorer to do it than it was for Chrome, so not sure what that's about. I guess Chrome's probably been caching it because I've been using it more over there. So we're going to give it the extra 16, 17 seconds, see what type of error warning it gives us, and then we'll go ahead and go through the install, and you'll see the auto update happen as well, and so you'll know how that should work in the future. So going, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Kidding. So make sure you trust this. You can trash it. I can say see more. I'm not sure what these options are. I can say keep here. Possibly what the same thing was there. No, that's just more downloads. Okay, so I'm going to say I want to keep it here. Make sure you trust it. Show more. Keep anyway. Okay, now it says that. I can say go to the folder. And again, so now I've got the two downloads going here. Sometimes they'll leave this little confirmed download behind. If you hit F5 on that download directory, it gets rid of that temp file. So I have two copies of it here now, basically, but both of them are the full stub executable there. So I'm going to go ahead and run one of these. So I'm going to double click on it. You could also do it from up here on one of these. I think this one gives it to you that you can just say run it, which is what that button is there, open. I'm going to double click in the downloads here. And it's popping up a dialog box saying, are you going to, the user account control, are you willing to let this thing run on your computer? You can't see it, but I can. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And then you should see now this FIP setup. It says welcome to wFIP for Windows FIP. There may be other FIPs on other OSs later, but for right now we're just continuing on with the Windows version. Featherweight Interface Program, I'm going to say next. Nobody reads the license agreement. You can read it if you want. I'm going to click the I accept, but you may want to read it if you want to say accept. I'm going to say next, and it tells you where it's going to install it to, and it's going to create a shortcut in the start menu. So I'll go ahead and say install. It's going to do the installation. You're going to see a dialog or a Windows pop up there where it was actually installing the COM drivers for the USB to serial conversion, and it says launch wFIP. And so now you're going to see what happens in the future if I ever update that build. I do expect updates to happen, but I'm going to say finish here. Since it was a stub installer, it effectively was already out of date. And so it's basically saying, I'm looking at this file to figure out what version is the most active. This one is not up to date anymore, so I'm going to download the actual installer from here. I'm going to create it in a temp directory and install it from there. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes to the install. So it's going to do an update. It's actually now going to download the executable for the current version, so the new version of the Featherweight Interface, Windows Featherweight Interface Program. Looks like this download runs about the same speed as the Internet Explorer one, probably because it's using .NET APIs that Microsoft wrote. Anyway, I won't do the countdown to launch again this time. We'll just wait just a minute here. Maybe I'll cut some time out, except now I've talked most of the time anyway, so maybe I'll leave it. So, but we'll see how this works here then for the installation. So it's going to finish, and it says the update has been downloaded. So it downloaded it to a temp directory, the new setup, and is now ready to install. So I'll say OK, and it's now going to be basically it's going to look the same, except this time it should be the current version. And so I'll go ahead and say OK. It's going to go through this again. It's going to install the COM drivers again briefly, and then it's going to say launch FIP. Since this one is now up to date based on the server, it's just going to pop up the Windows Interface Program, the Featherweight Interface Program. If I go here and go under All and my Start menu, we'll see now that we have the old Featherweight Interface Program, and until we're ready to replace it with the new one, we have the Featherweight wFIP 2.0 on here. So that's what we'll launch this. Launching it from here in the future, we'll still always check to see if there's a newer build. If there's a newer build, it will prompt you for, do you want to download and install it? You can hit cancel if you want. It should behave okay if you're not on the internet, not connected to the internet at the time. So if you're at a launch, it basically will just fail for that check and it won't tell you anything. It'll continue to run what version you have there. So if we go under Help About, you can go see what version this is. And so it is now actually a modern version, 2025. And it's checking a different version file on the server to keep it up to date. So anything else? There are some revision notes here. Mostly it hadn't been, the revision notes hadn't been updated since 2012, so I started one again, and I see I already have a typo in there of 2024. It should be 2025. It talks about the updates for the Blue Raven and Blue Jay. But anyway, I will have to do a separate video on the actual graphing features, uploading the files. There are some sample files that got downloaded with the build as well with the setup, so I'll go over those in a separate video. So, but that should get you up and running for the install. Like I said, for right now, you can get it from that URL, or after Adrian gets it on his site, then you should be able to just pull it straight from that site as well. So that's it for the video. Appreciate your time. Thanks. Take care.